So we have an interesting story that sort of flew under my radar, that a couple of days ago, P. Diddy and Charlemagne the God essentially endorsed Nina Turner to be Joe Biden's vice presidential running mate in the 2020 election. Just 2 days ago, on Instagram, Diddy posted the following. He said, "Good morning, Queen Nina Turner. I dare you to make her VP, Joe Biden. Then you may have my vote, sir. Hashtag respectfully." And then Charlemagne the God responds with a series of fist emojis indicating that he's in support of this statement. Nina, of course, responds very gracefully and kindly, and that sort of flew under the radar. And you might think that it's sort of a joke or just Diddy musing, but then you have to realize that earlier today, Diddy, Charlemagne the God, and basically 100 prominent black men, lawyers, artists, activists, all sorts of figures have come out and said Joe Biden must pick a black woman to be his vice president. They thought it was something he should have done months ago, but given all that's happened in the past few weeks and months in particular, it's gone from a thing he should do to a thing he must do. That black women have been loyal to the Democratic Party to a fault, more than any other group essentially, and they deserve to be acknowledged for that effort, for that loyalty, for that solidarity, with having one of their own chosen to be VP. And they've said that if Biden wants to ensure that he can win this election and have an enthusiastic and motivated base, one of the key things he can do is pick a black woman. Look, I don't disagree. But a lot of people are instantly taking this to mean that he should pick Stacey Abrams or Val Demings or Kamala Harris, picking, rather traditional corporate Democrats. A few people are suggesting maybe someone like Karen Bass, who isn't really seen as hardcore neoliberal, but she's not a dyed-in-the-wool progressive either. But maybe a good chunk of these men, including people like P. Diddy and Charlemagne the God, actually think maybe it should be someone like Nina Turner. As they note in that letter, as they note in their letter to Joe Biden, it's time to avoid the lesser of two evils argument. But my fear is that if you pick someone like Kamala Harris, who has done awful things to communities of color in her role as a prosecutor, what you're in effect doing is putting up Kamala Harris as the representative for black women, and then when you raise her problematic positions around racial and social and economic justice, all you're going to be able to say is, she's not as bad as Mike Pence, the other vice president. So in essence, by picking a neoliberal black woman, you are going to be making the lesser of two evils argument, at least some of the time. But if you pick Nina Turner, if you pick someone like Nina Turner, you're bringing in somebody that represents political, social, economic, racial, environmental justice, that can unify the Democratic Party, that can represent the loyalty of black women, that can do all of those things and not sacrifice the ideals. Not picking a lesser of two evils candidate, but a good candidate. Somebody that if they do need to step into the role as president, if Joe Biden has to leave, or who is going to run maybe as a candidate in 2024, if Biden only does one term, I can think of no one better than Nina Turner. If you're really concerned about unifying the party, you have to look at not only the enthusiasm of the African American base, of the black base, but also the skepticism a lot of progressives of all backgrounds, including a lot of young black people, have towards Joe Biden. And I can again think of no one better that can bring together young progressive activists, the Bernie Sanders camp, and everybody else than Nina Turner. I've talked to a lot of my Bernie Sanders supporters, and many of them are voting for Biden out of harm reduction. Almost none of them are voting for Biden because they like Biden. And there are a good chunk of them that are not going to vote for Joe Biden. That regardless of all those arguments, they do not feel Joe Biden deserves their vote, has earned their vote, has too many personal scandals to merit getting their vote. And I've always asked them, what if he picked a progressive person to be his VP? And we've all acknowledged that it's going to be a woman. So some people have said pick Bernie, but he's not going to pick Bernie. Also, it wouldn't make sense for him to pick another person in their late 70s. It doesn't make sense. But what about Nina, I always ask. And instantly, those people said, yeah, as much as I don't like Joe, the chance for Nina to become president is all I need. I will vote for Joe Biden. And I'm sure that the people that were going to vote for Joe, but weren't going to actually do any of the work to help him get elected, they would mark their ballot in November, but they weren't going to donate. They weren't going to put up signs. They weren't going to knock on doors. They weren't going to phone bank. They might do that now. And Bernie Sanders and the Nina Turner movement, which is intertwined with the Bernie movement, has thousands of people, tens of thousands of people that can do that work and have proven before that they will do it in record numbers if they believe in someone. Do I think Joe Biden is going to pick Nina Turner? I don't. I do think he's going to pick a black woman, and the odds right now, I think, are with Kamala Harris, with Susan Rice being in second place. So I do think that the argument these men are making, that it's time to recognize the contributions of black women to the Democratic Party, is 100% on point. But I worry about picking somebody that's going to replicate a lot of the systems of injustice that disproportionately affect black women. If you pick Nina Turner, he's not going to, because Biden is far too conservative to pick such a progressive stalwart. But if you pick Nina Turner, and if Nina Turner became vice president and then became president, you could have, for the first time in generations, if not ever, a president that truly gives a damn about every American.